If you're craving something sweet but not childish, you're in the right place. Today we're making a chai-infused custard pie, a twist on the English classic. Silky, smooth, got that cozy factor with a hint of spice in the background. This is something you're going to want to try over and over again. And the best part of all, you don't have to share it with your kids. I'm Lewis, and this is No Forks Given. So first things first, we're going to blind bake our base. And for that, I'm using a roll of shortcrust pastry. You can make your own, but I find this is much easier. Typically with these rolls, they don't come wide enough for the tin that you're going to be baking in. So if we have a look there, we can see this is going to need a bit of rolling out. So I'm looking just to roll it out just wide enough. I'm going to see if I can fit it into my tin. So as usual, you probably want to let gravity do most of the work. Okay, so now that's in, we're going to put something inside to stop the pastry from rising as it cooks. In my case, I'm going to be using some old flour. People have baking beans or beans that they blind bake with, but I also find that flour is much better because you can get right into the little tiny cracks of the corner of the pie. So to get the flour in, I'm going to make a simple cartouche. Cartouche is usually made for lids. We get a piece and I keep folding it over and over. Always on the same middle point so that you get something like that. I'm going to cut my cartouche around here. That gives us a rough, nice circle. So I'm going to tuck this in into my pie dish, and then I'm going to tip in my flour. You might be using beans to hold down the weight. I'm using flour in this case. And when that's finished blind baking, I'm simply going to pull it out. Tuck the flour into the edges, try and get it right up to the edge. Little effort now, saves a lot of hassle later. So just before it goes in the oven, you're going to want to trim off the excess pastry. This is about how much I'm leaving, a couple of centimetres all the way around. If you've got a slightly less, like here, don't worry too much, but you definitely want to leave it overhanging. The reason being is as it cooks, it's going to shrink. I'm going to tidy up after we've blind baked it and before we put the filling in. So this goes into an oven of 170 degrees Celsius or 340 Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. 4 whole eggs in here. Now we're going to want to separate the egg yolk from 2 eggs. That's 1. And 2. To the eggs, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, a generous teaspoon rather, and 110 grams of caster sugar. We're not looking to aerate it, we just want to combine the ingredients. We're going to scald the milk and infuse it with the chai tea. Put your milk on a medium to high heat, not boiling, you don't want to get the milk to boil. 300 ml of milk, use full fat if you want, I'm using semi-skimmed. To that, we're going to add 4 chai tea bags. You can make your own chai mix if you like. And 4. Now, it might seem like a lot, however, because you're not using water and you're using milk, the liquid is much more dense. It's more difficult for the tea to infuse. So to that, I'm adding 300 ml of double cream. So we're going to have 600 ml in total of liquid. Next step is to take it off the heat once it's hot, pop a lid on it, and leave it to infuse more whilst you do the next step. Blind baked for 15 minutes so far. So I'm going to take out the cartouche with all the flour. Hopefully don't spill it all inside. You can see what a perfect result that's given us. This hasn't risen at all. The sides are really pushed into the corners. We've got the extra pastry over the edge. I don't think it's going to shrink much further. So I'm actually going to try and trim it now while the pastry is semi-soft.
While I fast forward this bit, let me mention, time is always a struggle, but I love cooking for my family, a real mix of foods inspired by flavours from everywhere. I always want to put you, the viewer, first, so I'll respect your time and keep things as tight as possible. My only hope is that this channel inspires you and helps you mix up things. And as always, all the ingredients and the method are in the description below. I upload every week or two, so this is your kind of cooking channel. Take a look around at my other videos and consider subscribing. Now let's get back to it.
Pie base has been trimmed around the edges, starting to look quite neat and nice. And then it will go back in the oven at 340 Fahrenheit or 17 Celsius for another 8 to 10 minutes. While the pie is having its second blind bake, we're going to take the hot milk and pour it into a jug. This is going to make it easier to mix into the egg mixture. I'm taking care not to pour all of the milk because there might be some residue of spices at the bottom. Now, if it goes in, it doesn't really matter too much, but I'd rather there not be in there. Pour the milk into the egg mixture whilst it's spinning. Not too fast. The milk mixture should still be warm to hot. And you're going to pour it in slowly so it doesn't cook and scramble the egg. Now, this step is completely optional. I like to do it. I want a perfect sort of texture at the end of the pie making. I'm going to take the mixture, or the custard mixture that we made, and I'm going to run it through a strainer into another bowl, just to catch any tiny pieces of egg that may have cooked. You can see I've got a bit of spice mixture at the bottom of this. I'm going to not put that in. At this stage, we're going to cool our oven to 130 Celsius or 270 Fahrenheit. Top tip, we're going to bring the custard mixture to the pie, not the other way around. We'll know when it's cooked. We'll open it up. It should have a little wobble in the middle. Our chai infused pie has had exactly 60 minutes in the oven at 130 or 260 Fahrenheit. I want to show you the wobble that I was talking about earlier. So it's still a bit warm to touch, but if you shake it, maybe on camera, you'll see that it has a wobble effect on it. But it's by no means liquid, and that's when you want to take it out. At this point, you just let it cool down, and it's ready to eat as soon as it's at room temperature. Guys, if you're looking for a dessert dish that doesn't require the blind baking that you saw today, check out my next video up here, where I'll show you how to make a chocolate pecan pie. No blind baking required. Straight in the oven, really quick job. See you on the next one.